Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Fringe podcast. Dr. Abby Kramer here, medical director, and I am here with this is a fun change of pace. I'm interviewing my dear friend, Dr. Nicole Huffman.
Oh, dear friend. Hey there.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for coming. All right. So before we get started, I'd love for you to just give everyone a brief intro if they don't know who you are, like what you do, kind of what your specialty is, and give us a little lowdown on what's kind of brought you to where you are right now.
Wow. Okay. I know it's like such a change of
The
pace
short
from
version.
the short 10 minutes later. I'm Dr. Nicole Huffman. I'm a naturopathic doctor. I live in Wisconsin and I work 100% remote right now. And I mostly work with women and their hormones, which is kind of the big, I would say, overarching topic that I work with. A lot of perimenopausal women, um, the woman who's maybe having symptoms going into everything a bit too early. But I mean, I also see a lot of kids and I see a
Mhm.
lot of moms, right? So it doesn't necessarily just have to be hormones, kind of that. You're the naturopathic doctor. People come to see you last a lot of times after they've
Yeah.
exhausted a lot of other practitioners. I do feel like the trend is turning a bit and we're starting
Mhm.
to be like a first stop. I got into naturopathic medicine after I was a strength coach for like 12 years. And I started getting into nutrition and learning about how where you store body fat on the body says something about your hormones, basically. Your thyroid. If you store body fat here, you might have an estrogen dominance, low progesterone. And as I started working with supplements and nutrition, we started seeing people's labs change. And I realized
Mhm.
I have no idea how to read labs. I don't even really have any background in a lot of this stuff. So I just decided it was so cool that I needed to go back to school and really get a more foundational learning about everything. I'd also had a lot of like my own health experiences, which of course I feel like that's why a lot of us get into what we do from like our own health stuff. And I feel like you just keep learning and growing and specializing in new things. And I would say like my biggest philosophy is terrain first, like always really building up the foundation before you're going after the canary in the coal mine, or it's like that one special thing. And it's like most of the time you really just have a very shaky foundation and that's where we need to start.
Yeah. And isn't it that the truth? Like people are looking for the next new shiny object. Meanwhile, they have like 10 of them in storage somewhere or in a medicine cabinet that they didn't follow through with or didn't stick to. I just feel like it's the way we're wired for like a quick fix still. And that's
Totally.
just usually not what moves the needle.
No, it's not. And yeah, you can get a lot of relief from a supplement. Sure. But at the end of the day, it's also like, well, why are you needing that? Like what else is out of balance in your life?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I wanted to have you on here today to talk about a core issue I see with patients all day long. I'm sure you see as well. People are feeling tired, wired, and like burned out, depleted. But I feel like across the board, but especially with moms and
Yeah,
women,
for sure.
right? And so I think
Mhm.
before we talk about like why this is occurring so much, I'd love to talk about what this looks like clinically because I feel like those are kind of buzzwords everyone hears like depleted, burnout, but
Mhm.
what does that actually look like when you are chatting with in like a patient consult? What does that look like symptomatically?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I feel like waking up already tired. I feel like I just saw a new patient like that today. Like wakes up already exhausted, needs to close their eyes, take a nap by 2 p.m. By the time you get your kids to bed, you're like already like, will you please just go to sleep? I'm exhausted, craving that alone time because they have no resources left.
Mhm.
Then probably then they get like a second wind after their kids go to bed. So they're up for a while. They go to bed kind of late, maybe even late, like 10:30. Then they're waking up tired again. They feel, I would say symptomatic too is like really snappy, very reactive. They just feel like they just don't have any reserves. Their kids are
Right.
constantly driving them crazy or, they're getting
Yep.
into like tiffs with their partner. I mean, I feel like it's just they are very reactive. I mean, I feel like
Yeah,
that is a big symptom.
totally.
And they can look at, if you wanted to go clinically, like what labs look like, it could either be like really high cortisol across the board, super low cortisol, a dysregulated thyroid, like you can look at it a lab basis wise too, but sometimes these kinds of symptoms don't even really show up on labs too. And we see that
Mhm.
too. Like your labs
Yeah.
look great. And they're like, I feel like crap. Right.
Yeah. It's like that typical reel that goes around where it's like your daughter says your lab or your doctor says your labs are
Yeah.
perfect and you
Yeah.
feel terrible, right?
Yeah.
Because as we know, so many things are subclinical, and what matters more is like the symptom picture than
Yeah.
necessarily just what a lab thing says. We just did an interview last week with a brilliant woman who specializes in postpartum stuff. And she's saying that too, that like snappiness, it's like always depletion.
Yeah.
Like nutrient depletion, first of all. So like check for that. Like what are you functioning low in? But you just have no reserves. It's people that are women that are like snapping at their 3-year-old for like being a 3-year-old.
Yeah.
Right?
I know.
And I feel
And
like
when you
so many of
have a
us know that.
3-year-old, you do have to remind yourself that they are a 3-year
Like,
old.
exactly. You're like,
But
if you
that's the
take a
kind
step
of,
back, it's
yeah. But when you're in that reactive state, you literally can't take a step
no.
back. It's just like trigger, trigger, trigger. And when you have more, you're not depleted, you have more resources, you can be like, they're being a child right now. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. You
Yeah.
don't have the capacity to like handle one more meltdown or tantrum or
Right.
like a challenging bedtime. And then I'm sure you agree with this. I usually find when the mom or parent has a better capacity, can better regulate themselves, then usually magically the kids start behaving better as well.
Yep. 100%. The kids are always just mirroring the mom for the most part. Yeah.
Totally. And so, okay, let's get to like the root cause of this. Why? Because I don't really know that I remember 10 years ago, both you and I started practice. Now I feel like every single woman I see feels this way. And I really don't think that was the case 10 years ago. Were some of them, sure, but I feel like it's like more now.
Yeah, for
Maybe
sure.
it's like I'm more seeing that age of women, but I don't think so. I think it's like way more common now that people are feeling this. So, what are some of the main things you think that are driving this for people?
Yeah, it's interesting. I definitely feel like people overall are more sick, like in terms of, they'll come see you with like, they already know their diagnoses too, whether that's from like searching on the internet or whatnot. Like, I have this, and this. Like, I definitely feel like we're seeing more of that. I feel like the depleted mother is kind of like a story as old as time. Um, I mean, one like very straightforward thing, and it's kind of frustrating because I don't think you can like change this overnight, but we've talked about this before, is that this style of parenting where it's just you parenting your kids alone is like very new. Like that's really not how things have been in the past. We had a village, there was, multiple people involved, multi-generational. And so this is like definitely a newer model. Is that the whole story? Definitely not, but I do think that is worth mentioning. Um I mean, my main thing, like I talk about all the time, is this like terrain based stuff, which I think covers terrain can have multiple pillars underneath it, right? Like your blood sugar, your sleep, your whatever, right? But I do think a big one is how much time we're spending indoors in this like dimly lit environment versus being outside. And I think people are starting to talk about that a bit more like, oh, we should just like return to nature. And I don't think anybody really knows what that means. They're just like,
Right.
am I
It's
just
like,
supposed to like
duh, but
yeah, like, I'm supposed to, like, be out in my backyard all day long or, like, what are you talking about? And I don't know, some of the mentors that I've had in this area have said that they really feel like the light environment that a lot of us are in is causing more illness and more dis-ease than anything else. And that's a pretty big claim. I mean, that's like
yeah,
a pretty
it's
big
huge.
thing to say. But when you start trying to reorient and spend your time more outside, you can start to see why. I mean, if you want to get like really sciencey and you just look at lux, which is like the measure of intensity of light. I'm sure you guys talk about this all the time. You're like red light people. But outside it could be on a sunny day, like 100,000 versus like, or 50,000 versus inside, which might be like 1,000. I mean, that's a
Right.
massive difference in energy. And so many moms and kids are inside, they're in front of screens, moms are on their phone. I mean, it's just like a completely different light environment than what we've had typically our entire
Mhm.
genome, right? That is
Mhm.
built on. I want to say it's Chris Kresser had a story about when he went to spend time with a tribe that was just like living in their native land, eating their native food. And they like didn't even have a word for like insomnia. They were like, what are you talking about? You can't sleep. Like they live
Amazing.
outside, they live off the
Right.
land. Like that wasn't even, what do you mean
Couldn't
you
even
don't sleep?
compute.
Right. And, and if you even want to look at the difference, if we're talking about 10 years we've been in practice, like, well, what has changed? Okay, well, technology for sure.
Yeah. Yep.
People are way more on their phones. Everything just keeps exponentially changing in such a short period of time compared to our genetics. So I think, when you tell people like you just need to be outside more, I think that can be really like, especially for people who live in like suburbia and they've got a backyard, they're like, I don't understand what I'm supposed to be like doing out here. So
Right. Right.
I think it's definitely a part of a bigger conversation, but I do feel like how removed we are from nature is probably the number one that I see.
Yep. Totally. And because earlier you were talking about the cortisol curve, right? Which that is so important for your sleep at night, for your reserves. I just like did a post about this about how much even like just having blue light blocking glasses helps.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
bedtime be easier. If you know, all the moms with little kids, bedtime can be a little
Right.
dicey
A little dicey.
sometimes for
Mhm.
mom and kid.
Mhm.
And, so your light environment, like you're saying during the day, we should have super bright sun during the day. And then at night, especially when we get into winter months, think about by the time you're going to bed here in Wisconsin, it's been dark for 3 hours
Right.
already,
Exactly.
right? And so we're
Mhm.
like completely jacking it up.
Yeah, I think we're completely jacking it up. I also feel like when you talk about that cortisol curve, so, you wake up, your cortisol should be, at a certain level, we'll say. And then it should go up a couple hours after you've been awake and then slowly come down over the day till it's low at night, which is just that I'm ready to go to bed, right? Well, if you're waking up and you're not getting any, we'll just talk the morning, any of that light to really tell your cortisol it's time to peak, we might see like a low during the morning. And then at night, we see it peak up, which is that tired but wired, can't fall asleep. You're surrounded by the blue light on your TV or on your cell phone or whatever it is that's like artificially telling your cortisol that it's morning time. And these people that we see this inverted cortisol curve, meaning backwards, they always feel like crap. I mean, always. And so I do feel like the light outside actually can help. It literally is what influences you to have a healthy cortisol curve.
Yes. And I think people are diving deep under like all these adaptogens and things to support that. And like, yes, I love that. And can you give the people listening, like, what would be your basic prescription to a patient as far, like, basically your light prescription for like morning, evening, midday, what they could do that's like actionable and sustainable to help
Yeah,
reset that?
for sure. What we do in my house is we literally wake up and we walk outside. That is what we do. I don't take my phone with me. And I used to say like, well, I have horses, so like you got to go outside and you do, but you also can just do that right away. And the first light signal into your eyes is that of the sun, right? And now the sun is starting to come up a little bit later now. So there are times we're out before sunrise, but it's still bright. I mean, it's not like we're like in the dark. That might be a different conversation in the winter, but right now it's like we wake up and we walk outside. That's what we do. We give That light tells our cortisol it's time to go. It tells our melatonin to shut off, right? Like it's already informing how you're going to fall asleep that night already in the morning time. And
Yep.
then after you've done whatever you're doing outside, and for some people, they're like, I'm not really sure to do out here yet. That's fine, right? Like that is for you to figure out. I have a movement practice that I do. Then we go feed the horses and the cats and the chickens and the whole thing. And then we eat breakfast and we eat breakfast outside, right? That's like our summer. That's what we do in the summer. Um, I feel like there was something else I was going to say. And then, especially for the people who wake up and the first thing they do is look at their phone and they're getting that kind of light. But whatever they're seeing on their phone, especially if it's social media, that's already informing your brain of like, I think Andrea Fagenholtz used to talk about this all the time. I learned it from her, that you're in a hypnotic state when you first wake up and then right when you go to sleep. So that hypnotic state is really informing your neurotransmitters, your mood, your everything. The very first time, the first minutes of your
The
whole
most
day.
sensitive time.
And you're
Yeah.
looking at, what everybody else is doing on social media, which is already giving you new feelings, how you should feel. Like that's a confusing way to start the day, right? So I would inform yourself how you want to feel in the beginning of the day. And we know that how you start your day often will carry out that theme through your whole day. So it's not like wake up, have a 10-step routine, make sure you drink your warm lemon water. That's great. You can
Yeah.
do all that stuff, but
Yeah.
real basic and very
Totally.
free. Leave your phone inside and go outside.
Yep.
Yeah.
Love that. Super simple. So there were a couple other things I wanted to mention. I think circadian health is the easiest, most low lift thing you can start doing right now. And like you're saying, the morning sun actually impacts how your evening's going to go way more than you think. Super easy, sustainable. Just get outside. It's a great time of year for that, to easily incorporate that. But some other things I also see, I want to circle back to blood sugar, because I'd say that's probably the second biggest one that I
Yeah,
see is if we're talking about mood and stuff, especially at the end of the day and feeling snappy, take it to the bank. You can almost guarantee that same patient is riding a crazy blood sugar roller coaster all day long.
for
And that's
sure.
something that you can, I don't want to say easily dial in, but basically with free, simple adjustments, you can feel so much better by stabilizing your blood sugar.
I feel like it's so interesting because seeing an overweight, undernourished mom is so common. It's like, how can they be overweight but undernourished? It's just doesn't really make sense.
But that's the
And I,
majority of our country.
mhm,
Kids
right,
too.
kids too. And we know that cortisol will inform how your body stores body fat, especially around the middle, right? This is one of the principles I learned that made me want to go back to med school. But the other piece is, how a lot of women don't eat breakfast, super common. And sure, are there times where intermittent fasting can be great? Absolutely. But for the average woman who is super stressed out and now they're not eating for breakfast, so they're giving their body another reason to be stressed out because now there's no food coming in and they're like, what's going on, right? Like a pretty well-regulated woman could be like, I'm going to intermittent fast this morning. Probably not going to be a big deal. But the woman who's already fried and depleted, we're not depleting you of food. And then they're eating the scraps that are left over from their kids' breakfast because they're taking care of everybody else
Yep.
first. Where
Yep.
let's revisit what we talked about in the beginning of the episode, which was the kids usually mirror off the mom. So put on your own oxygen mask first, always for the mother. Have a really good protein, fat breakfast. That's already going to start your blood sugar and your glucose off on the right foot, right? Because we know that since cortisol does go up in the morning, glucose will go with it sometimes. So it's not really And I don't know what you've seen, but for me, and when I do have women like measure their blood sugar for like snippets of time just to see what's working for them, it's not really the time for like a huge bowl of oatmeal or like a bunch of toast, you know? That's just like another glucose bomb that's already sensitive because it's a time of high cortisol in the morning. So then you're starving again by 10 a.m. and then you're
Yep.
reaching for, right? You're just like, you've set
Yep.
yourself up on this path, this trajectory of these roller coastery where the women I see who eat within an hour of waking up, I don't eat first thing at all. I eat within an hour, probably at the hour mark, having that protein and fat, and then they're good. Like their blood sugar is good, their brain is good, they feel like they can think, they're witty, right? All the things, and then they're like ready to eat by the time lunch
Yep.
comes. Like that's
Yep.
perfect, right?
And then how often, like, I always tell my patients, listen, your mood is going to follow your blood sugar throughout the
Mm-hmm.
day. And so I see so many women that by 10, 11, they feel like they need a nap, like they feel awful. And it's like, yeah, you almost always can take it back to their breakfast. And of course, with like all the best intentions, they might be doing like a ton of fruit they don't realize in a smoothie, for example, right?
Yeah.
Like those carbohydrates and simple sugars can add up really fast. And then what goes up must come down. Like you're going to crash. It's like
Yeah. 100%.
inevitable. And then, right, they need to pick me up for lunch. Same thing, huge spike. And then there's the 2 p.m. nap. Like
Yeah.
it's so predictable
It's
where
so
I
predictable.
love patients to do a glucose monitor. I think it's super informative, but you almost don't need it when they feel like that. You're like, I can tell you exactly what's happening,
Yeah. Like
basically.
let's do this first. Let's see what happens before we throw all the money at the gadgets and the testing and everything. There's definitely a time and place for that. But also, these are like some really easy things we can do for easy, but like there are things you can do first that we are just
Simple.
simple. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I get it. Like a lot of women they'll say, like, I'm nauseous first thing in the morning, or I just don't have an appetite. Like that is so common. Once you start eating in the morning, you will have an appetite again. It
Yep.
happens all the time. You just got to like nauseousness in the morning is usually high cortisol, and you might have high cortisol because you don't eat, right? It's like
Yep.
this.
It's like a vicious cycle.
Yes, exactly. So
Yep.
sometimes it's like you just have to have, like, I think you shared something like an egg bite recipe or whatever. Like
Yep.
people should do that. They should do
Yep.
something that is made, it's easy,
Yep.
it's just there. I don't love cooking
Yep.
breakfast. Thank God my husband does it for us, right? I
Yep.
mean, you've just
Yep.
got to have like your easy win.
Totally. You've got to have like 2, 3 quick options. And I think people also get sucked into like breakfast food. It's like, listen, no one's saying you can't have like some greens and leftover steak from the night before for your breakfast. You know, like you don't
For
have to
sure.
overthink it either.
Yeah,
Just
it's
getting
so true.
nutrition in.
Charles Poliquin used to have us pick I'm sure I told you this before, like 4 different raw nuts and 4 different types of protein, pair
Yes,
them up Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. That was like his thing.
does it.
Yeah. And if you're like, I'm not gonna have something new every day, it's fine.
Yeah.
Then like pick 3 of those and like rotate them up.
Right.
Right. But
Right.
that was his like meat and nut breakfast, get you going,
Mm-hmm.
and then if you want more of your carbohydrates, do that at lunch. When the sun is naturally higher, your body naturally will use carbohydrates better, right? Like your insulin sensitivity is higher earlier in the day than, let's say, at night. Like there's all sorts of different like nuance, and you'll find what works for you. But I really do feel like the average mom also just like doesn't eat enough food. I don't know if you see that, but I
Almost
see that
never.
all the time.
No. And then I would say they're not eating enough protein and fat. They're
Yeah.
almost always eating enough carbs,
Right.
right? And like you
Yeah.
said, it's picking at like I'm having 4 bites of my kids' leftover pancake that I gave
Right.
them and like a couple berries and like you're on your way. And I get it. Morning routine's nuts, especially we're talking about going back to school soon and like but that's why you just have to have a system that works for you. Once you have that down, It's really pretty simple. Same thing applies to lunch. Like, I have my handful of super boring lunches, and they are not sexy. They're ugly. It's like a can of tuna and some celery and like a few almond crackers and done. And, rotate, make a chicken salad, some eggs, whatever. Like, it's boring, but who
Right.
cares? It like works and it's balanced and like keeps me satiated till dinner. So, I think that's the hard part for people is like the decision fatigue of like, okay, but where do I even start? And this is where the
Totally.
internet is so great for this. Like, use AI, use Google, people's blogs, like just kind of meal prep simple ideas. And like you were saying, it's like an experiment for a month, right?
It
See
is.
which lunch helps you kick that like dip in the afternoon where you feel like you need a nap. So it's always a blood sugar thing and you probably can find the right combo. I feel like this is mind blowing to most moms I see. I'm like, you should have stable energy all day long. And
Right.
they're like, what? Like, like I don't think they felt that in years, right? They're like, I feel exhausted all the time, or I feel great in the morning and then crash in the afternoon. And it's like, yeah, no, you should actually feel stable energy. Your brain should feel like it's working. Like
Yeah.
we should be firing on all cylinders and then be
Hmm.
able to sleep really pretty easily. And it really is just our environment that's like messed all that up.
It's so true. It's so true. Like the invention of all of like these lights and everything. Oh, there was something I was going to say. Oh, the smoothie. I feel like that's such a go-to for so many women. And one of my mentors, who was like, drinking your food is the worst thing you can do for your digestive tract. There is no chewing. It doesn't like simulate, tell your body that anything is coming.
Right.
It's like so backwards. Most of those protein powders have so much crap in them.
Yep.
You also like wouldn't ever eat that much food blended up. Like it just like doesn't make sense on so many levels. And I know it's easy and like a protein shake here and there, great. As a staple for like your breakfast every day or lunch every day, I would step back from that. Especially if you have gut problems, you have bloating or I would just take a step back. There were so many of those protein powders, they would like make me have the worst gas in the entire world. I can talk about this because you guys are medical stuff, but it was a lot. And it was like those pea protein powders or
Yeah,
whatever.
especially the vegetarian ones are
Oh my
notorious
gosh.
for that because it's
Brutal.
always like peas and a bunch of seeds. And it's
Yes.
like, well, yeah, anyone with gut issues, that is just going to be like a nuclear bomb.
And who wants to be around people then? My goodness.
Right. Right. I mean, I do love a good protein powder. It's like an insurance policy, or like
Sure.
I'll give one to Quinn a lot during the school year when it's like she's sleeping in, we need something fast. Or in addition to, right, you make some eggs or whatever.
Yeah. In
And there are
addition,
a few clean brands out there. 99% of them are full of a bunch of junk. But there
totally.
are some good options. But like you're saying,
Just
you
not a,
can't have
s-
all your food
just
be
not a
liquid.
staple. Yeah.
I also never feel satiated. I could have a protein shake with 2 scoops, like pretty close to 50 grams of protein in it, and I would like feel hungry after. So I don't
100%.
understand that actually. It must be because like missing the chewing,
I think it's
because that's
missing
a
the
lot of
chewing.
protein.
Yeah. I think it's missing the chewing.
Yeah.
And there's no, right? You're not like the very first signal for digestion is smelling your food. I don't think
Yeah,
anyone's
that
like,
doesn't happen.
my
Okay, smell
smoothie
your shake. Tip
smells
number 1.
insane. And then
Ah!
he would be like, well, if you're going to drink it, like, say you have to, that's the only option you have, right?
Yeah.
You should
Yeah.
literally chew it in your mouth.
Okay.
I
There you
mean,
go. You
just
heard
tell
it here
Quinn.
first.
Yeah, just tell Quinn.
Maybe it's better then to do like a yogurt, mix the protein powder, and then you're actually eating it and it's giving you extra protein. Well,
And then you're
yogurt's
chewing
kind of
it in your
liquid
mouth.
too. Chew the
Yeah.
yogurt.
Yeah. Chew the yogurt.
All
It's
right,
getting
well,
real weird.
that was a fun tangent. But I find a big problem with the shakes is like you're saying the ingredients. what's in it will shock you. Actually, look at the label. And then people are usually adding like so much fruit to it. People aren't usually making it with just like, coconut milk or whatever. It's like, then
Well,
I
that's what I'm
put a whole
saying.
banana and a bunch of berries
You wouldn't
and
eat
it's
that
like,
much probably. There's
this
no way
put
you
like
would put like
75
a
grams of
whole
sugar.
banana, a bag of like frozen berries. Like you
Berries.
wouldn't
Yeah.
sit down and eat all of that probably.
No.
Like your body would be like, I'm good, you know?
Yeah. Right. Right.
Anyways,
Okay,
I
good.
also
All right.
think we probably should mention the depleted piece is almost always minerals too. Like no one's getting enough minerals.
Yep. Yep. It's impossible because the soil's terrible.
Yeah.
So
Yay for
you need
friends
minerals, guys.
electrolytes.
We have a solution for that, obviously.
Obviously. It's amazing.
Minerals for everyone. That is
Yes.
actually really big. I mean, I've had people say like they're a huge shift in like their energy from
Yeah.
just getting their minerals up. That I
100%.
feel like a lot of people don't talk about that.
Yes.
Another one I had written down, which this is more like our way of life and kind of like a life audit, I feel like most moms need. Because a key part of this depletion, especially with women, is we tend to say yes to everything.
Oh, yes.
And I see this constantly from my women patients. They'll even own it. They're like,
Yeah.
I do this to myself. I signed up for all the things and I'm the like room mom and I'm the this and I'm the that and I'm hosting this family thing and then we wonder why we're so burned out. So I think that's such a key part for so many people is like audit your life and all
Yes.
the things you're putting on your plate, because even just your life and your family and your home and your children is like a lot, then let alone all the external things and getting away from that, like saying yes to everything mentality. Like you're saying, put your oxygen mask on first.
Well, I think too, like we feel like our kids should be like so busy and doing all these things and like they really don't need to do that. And maybe I'll revisit this as like mine are older, but I feel like how many things on your schedule are you actually like fired up about that are like
Right.
actually energy giving to you? And
Right.
then when you're done with them, if you're like super depleted, like you feel tired after leaving whatever that was on your schedule, it's like such a good eye opener to be like, yeah, that probably wasn't for me. Like that might be
Right.
like a depleting. I don't know. I just feel like you can say no and you can change your mind. Like I remember when I was
Yes.
talking to, I like had Asher signed up for soccer. I was like, what am I doing? We literally just was like, I'm sorry, but like we're not going to do this.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
not going to do. We're not going to have swim and then soccer. It's insanity to me.
Right. Right. He's 3. You'll get
He's
there.
3. It's fine. Right. Like,
You
I
got
just
time.
feel like you can change your mind. Like, that's a really silly, small
Yes.
example. Like, I know there are bigger things and bigger commitments that people are like, well, I have to do it. And then I have to do this because I can't. No,
Yeah, but that's the entire problem, the like, I have to. It's
you
like,
don't have to do
no, no,
anything,
no. We're
actually.
all adults here. Yeah.
Right.
You can say no, like you're saying, you can change your mind. Maybe the balance that worked for you last year was like awesome, and this year it needs to look different. And
Right.
that's okay too. And I think, like you said, tuning into your energy, when you look at the calendar, look at that thing. Everyone knows this immediately. We just convince ourselves otherwise. Like, does
Yes.
that feel energy giving? Because sometimes it totally will. It'll be like, I can't wait to like, go on that field trip with my kid. That like sounds awesome, right? Or do you look at that and immediately you're like, oh,
Totally.
like
Yeah.
kill me?
And you're
It's
like, the
probably a no.
only reason I'm doing this is because I don't want this person to be like, oh, I'm going to be upset if they
You're like
don't. Like,
obligation or guilt
yeah,
or
then it's like,
yeah,
ooh, wow, you might have something to like work on there, right? Because
yeah,
it's,
for
you should
sure.
just be doing it because you like love to do it, you know?
Because I feel like
Yeah.
that's big. Like you can have all the basics we talked about, dial in your circadian rhythm, prioritize your sleep, like stabilize your blood sugar, take care of yourself. But if everything's so outward, like you're constantly doing for everyone else, like it's not going to get you very far then.
It's not. No.
Say no
And
more. This is the
yeah,
year of no.
this is the year of no.
Very
Yes.
good.
And this is the other thing. If you are resilient and have a lot of energy, then you can do that obligatory thing that you know you kind of have to do, but you don't necessarily
Right.
want to. and you're
Right.
still going to be fine.
You can handle it.
You have the energy for
Yeah.
it. But when
Yeah.
you're in that depleted state, which we're talking about, doing another depleting activity is just like, it's just going to crash you out.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. You can't, it's like the straw that broke the camel's back. Like you're already up
Yeah.
to here. So
Right.
then you go to that extra event and then you need like 3 days to recover.
Right.
Mm.
Like Country Thunder in my 20s. You need a week to recover.
Right. Imagine now. And survive.
Amazing. Right.
Just leave at like 9:30.
Yeah,
That's
it's
great.
fine. Yeah.
Okay, so we talked about basics. Everyone work on all of those first. But then I would love to leave people with, say someone's dialed in a lot of this stuff, at least the things they can control, and they're still feeling off. They're still feeling wired, tired, depleted, their hair's thinning, energy crashes, whatever. What are some simple like testing recommendations you would have for a patient at that point? Like what should they consider getting checked?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I would definitely do like a full thyroid panel. So
What
that's
does
like,
that include?
the TSH, the free T3, the free T4, reverse T3, look at your antibodies. I think you can even look at total T3. I think those are all really helpful. I love the Dutch test to look at hormones. That's the urine one you do at home. And you can also add on like the cortisol saliva test to that. Super simple. You can just see where that cortisol curve is for you that we've been talking about. I'm a big fan of looking at fasted insulin and fasted leptin and vitamin D. I just like to see where your metabolism is at. I think those are very important. Most labs like won't run a fasted leptin. Don't get it, but I always still try. And then I never think it's a bad idea to look at your iron and ferritin. There's so many women who are exhausted. They have super low ferritin. That's like a whole different rabbit hole. Um, and then sometimes I'll look at like inflammation. So HSCRP or like a hemoglobin A1C to see like blood glucose. Those are
Mhm.
kind of like my standards. It's
Yep.
just like a good overall base check just to see where somebody's at.
Yep. And I think that's super helpful to share that with anyone listening because a lot of traditional Western medical doctors are not going to check literally any of that. So, like,
Right.
write those down. And many of them,
It's
from what
true.
I've seen, if you ask, a lot of times they're okay pulling it. They might not know what
Yeah,
to do with the answers, but you might as well ask and get like the proper things tested.
for sure.
So you can see where you're really at.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. As we close up, please let the good people listening know where they can find you on socials, your website, and share a little bit about your program you have coming up for the fall because it really is perfect for people experiencing what we just talked about.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you. So I'm Dr. Nicole NMD on Instagram. Pretty active on there, I would say. And then my website is drnicolehuffman.com. It's pretty simple. My program coming up this fall is called Radiant Woman Method. It's 7 weeks of me teaching you live with Q&A. And every week we're basically going over a pillar of the foundation for the perimenopausal woman, the woman whose hormones feel imbalanced, and it's not always really about the hormones. It can be about the terrain and the foundation that are informing the hormones, what they should be doing. And the testimonials have been awesome the last 2 times we've run it. So I'm super excited. I only run it twice a year. I am still teaching it live for now. So it's great. It's a good community that we build, and we have a private Facebook page along with it. So all the women can kind of chat the whole 7 weeks of like what they're implementing, what they're seeing. It's great. So the wait list
Awesome.
is open for that right now.
That's great. So we will drop that info in the show notes for you guys if you want to join the wait list, check it out. It's awesome.
Yay. So good.
All right. Well, thanks so much for joining us, Dr. Nicole. It was a real
Thanks for,
pleasure.
oh, so fun. Love you guys.
All right. Thanks.